So today I'm watching another Uber YouTuber. You guys might know him. He has a channel called Vinny Cuz. Shout out to Vinny Cuz. If I remember, I'll link his video below mine so you know what I was talking about. But he was talking about how Lyft is basically scammed their drivers even worse than Uber, because they took the Lyft platform off, which was paying them more, and started this extra comfort stuff. In the beginning, he said, because I don't drive in those platforms, he said in the beginning, and he's in Florida, the extra comfort was paying close to what Lux was. But now it's basically equivalent to like low tier XL and even higher basic X rides. And the offers are getting less and less because obviously there's more drivers on the platform. But to force these drivers into driving in X and XL, and I think the way he put it, the Lyft XL, there's only one category. You do XL and extra comfort, so you're like stuck. You can't segregate those two. On Lyft anyway, not Uber. And he made most of his money on the Lyft side, I could tell. And it's unfortunate that a lot of drivers are put in a situation where they have higher tier vehicles and they're forced to drive lower tier platforms. That was Lyft plan all along, I believe. And it's crazy because Lyft, at least in my area, everybody want to argue with me about this one, but at least in my area, Lyft lately is offering me more rides lately than ever before, and they seem to pay a little bit more than the Uber rides. Even when I got a bonus on the Uber side, it seems like the Lyft side is paying me a little bit more, and I'm getting more frequent rides, more frequent offers. Literally, I don't know what's going on with Uber lately. I do not know what's going on. Well, I kind of do know what's going on. The market's oversaturated to the point where I'm barely getting any offers on Uber to even cherry pick. For the first time in history, I think this really is the beginning of the end for these platforms, because the oversaturation is basically killing it for the drivers that were making a profit. But every now and then you'll still see this random YouTuber. One of them got just deactivated. One of the guys is in that 2,000 a week club, always bragging, oh, we just made 2,000 a week again, this is how easy it is. He got deactivated on Lyft. I'm not gonna say his name, but he has a lot of subscribers, and he's always bragging about making $2,000 a week, and he got deactivated on Lyft recently. And I don't like to poke fun at anybody's misery, but even when you have a good streak on these apps, because I'm guilty of it too, you get a little excited, but you gotta remember, let me put a few extra dollars away, because this ain't gonna last. Even if it's literally a couple bucks towards next week, because next week might be that slow week, or next week I might actually get deactivated. Because the minute you come out here and start bragging and getting overly excited about anything in rideshare, it seems that that's when everything falls apart. I started thinking about the future, because I don't see a long-term future in rideshare at all. Obviously, I talk about it over and over and over. in many videos about how this is not sustainable anymore. But this year is definitely the beginning of the end with all the scam they're doing to all the drivers. And a recent one where they owe millions to New York drivers. I just posted a couple of videos about that. Millions. What is it? $328 million in back pay these drivers are gonna get in their I honestly, for the first time in my life, I wish I was owed some of this money, because some drivers are gonna be getting like 20, 30, possibly even 50 and retro back pay. Somebody's walking away with enough for an easy down payment on a piece of real estate. Now, it was their money, but because you're getting it all back in one chunk, you're able to do something very positive with it if you spend it in the right place. And if I was those drivers, I would not get another vehicle. Even if I have a fleet, I would not invest in another vehicle. I would rather risk it and put it in real estate than another vehicle to put another driver on the platform. Unless you're going to do something else with that vehicle other than rideshare. Because I do believe medical transportation, as well as regular public transportation, is still a valuable business, or still can be a valuable business, especially when you incorporate, you can get a lot of fleet credit, and you could diversify and put some of that money in other places because you're going to have a lot of write-offs. So I believe there's still money to be made in transportation. It's just not with these rideshare platforms. Now, here's the good news. There is good news. The good news is I'm seeing a lot more apps. I guess they're still considered in the gig economy realm, where you can still be an independent contractor. Some of them are real apps for real jobs, where you could use your vehicle and make more money than Uber and Lyft. You got to really be crafty with looking for these companies. I'm currently looking for one that fits my needs, that's in some shape or form in the medical transportation realm, and will require me to only have something, maybe say like a minivan. And these are apps, I'm not just talking about like Amazon Flex or any of those. I'm talking about real companies that actually pay way better than the typical Spark, Amazon Flex, Lyft, DoorDash. There's real companies out there. You gotta dig, you gotta look. As I grow the channel and I find these companies, I'm gonna put them on the channel. I'm gonna talk about them, so you don't gotta worry about that, because I really want people to have a lot of options, because I see no future with it, at least these two companies. With Uber and Lyft, I see no future. Now, are there other gonna be future rideshare apps and companies that come out that may benefit drivers in the future? Yes. But by then, I might not be one of them. I'm pretty sure I will not be. But I have started dabbling with the idea of still starting a rental fleet business, where I rent vehicles. This way, I'm not relying on Uber and Lyft as a platform to sustain my business. I'd rather be a rental company. You're still taking a risk, but being a rental company, you're not just reliant on rideshare drivers for your income. And with the downfall of the company, what was it called, Hire Car, I guess they just filed for bankruptcy. I see opportunity probably in every state, but particularly my state, where you can rent vehicles two people that want to do gig jobs other than just Uber and Lyft, like minivan stuff. Somebody may want to do Amazon Flex, you know. Somebody who may want to do their own delivery job and just rent your vans. And you just provide the van and the insurance. And of course, anything in transportation is risky, but I feel like that's way more sustainable than only providing vehicles for Uber and Lyft drivers that something could go wrong, they can get deactivated, something could go wrong. At least by diversifying your company, you're able to always have something coming in. You're not relying on just gig workers. And I know, like, the guy I watch, Glendon Cameron, you know, he talked about the downfall of a car rental business. But there's certain ways you can go about it that make it more sustainable. Like, you only rent, like, long-term. You only do, like, long-term rentals. That's one way of locking it in. You get the majority of your money up front. You vet these people. You make sure they're real business people with real income. You know, I would not just rent a vehicle to just anybody. That's just me. And if you're very choicey and say you rent your vehicles for like 6 months increments, I think you could have a sustainable rental business with probably 3 to 5 cars. You're probably looking at a 6-figure business. And if you only have those people to worry about and you're only changing out every 6 months or redoing a contract every 6 months, and you already vetted these people, they're real business people, I think you're in a better situation than people that used to rent on like hire car, stuff like that. Hire car didn't vet their people. That was one of the reasons why the downfall of hire car, I believe. So there's still a lot of opportunities to make some money. And there's still opportunity to make money in rideshare if you want to drive a lot of hours. I personally am driving part-time, and I feel as if it's not profitable enough as even a part-time gig anymore. I feel like basically right now I'm breaking even. Like whatever I spend out in gas and maintenance, I'm basically just getting that money back. You know, where just last year, I felt like I was still making a profit. Now, technically, I'm still making the same amount of money per hour, but I have to work usually an extra hour compared to last year to make that difference. So slightly less. And you gotta understand, it's less in the economy because everything went up. Interest rates went up, food went up, the cost of living went up. So $20 an hour isn't really $20 an hour anyway. So it's more like I'm making only like, instead of $20 an hour, I'm averaging more like, I would say 15 right now. Or just last year, I was probably averaging close to 30. Just last year, 2022. Just last year, I was averaging more money. And now, instead of 4 hours, I would have to drive 6 hours a day to make that same money. And I just refuse to do it. I refuse to add more wear and tear for Uber or Lyft. So I'm losing money because I'm only driving like 4 hours a day now. So pretty soon it's probably going to be narrowed down to just the weekends. And I got to think about my future. And my future says focus on my online business, grow that out. And yes, you are going to see more automated videos on the channel because I'm using AI technology to my advantage to help grow my business. And I promised I wouldn't really talk about it on this channel. on the rideshare channel, but AI technology has made my life so much easier on the content creation. I pretty much doubled my views on all my channels. I put out way more content, and you're gonna notice it on all the channels. I put out way more content. I'm getting way more views. It's a combination of long form and a lot of shorts. And I'm starting to see the view count grow on every channel, thanks to AI technology. I can't even take all the credit for it. Now, I know this is a rideshare channel that this video is on, but you gotta start thinking about the future, guys. Because Vinny Cuz, if you watch his channel, you could see the frustration in his face because he doesn't understand why these companies are being so greedy. They can make money without the greed, and they still pay it on the back end. Uber and Lyft just got sued for millions of dollars that if they just paid the drivers fairly up front, would have never been an issue. Now you got to remember, they're paying technically more than that because they got to pay the legal fees. Think, Uber and Lyft, think. Just pay the drivers fairly and you will save billions in lawsuits. The rideshare professor talked about it. He got a whole business helping drivers, lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit. Some of these people are winning without even people like him help. Some people are actually lawyers that drive part-time for Uber and Lyft, know the legal process, go through the legal process, sue Uber and win, and get back pay. Well, that's a loss for the companies because they wouldn't have never paid that back pay had they just paid the drivers fairly. Legal fees, back pay. The greed is actually costing really Lyft way more damage because they make so much less. So I don't get why Lyft feels like, oh, we got to copy everything Uber does. You're only hurting yourself. You're only hurting yourself. Lyft needs to make some changes. Stop trying to be a little Uber. I like what they're doing in my area, offering me more rides. Of course, I like that. I can guarantee today is a slow day, Saturday. And if I turn my app on, I'm going to get more offers today on Lyft than Uber. Where just last year, it was the opposite. I don't know what's going on with Uber. The oversaturation has finally hit to the end of the road, in Connecticut anyway. I'm starting to see it in a lot of places from what the other Uber tubers are talking about. I don't understand the greed. There's enough money out here for everybody. For everybody. The corporate greed is ridiculous. We're going to see what happens. Right now, I'm just focused on the content creation. You're going to see a lot more videos. You're going to see a lot more videos on every channel. And a lot of them are going to be negative because there's a lot of negativity in rideshare, unfortunately. And every once in a while, I'll throw some positivity in there, but it's not a lot. If you're looking for positivity, you hit the wrong place, unfortunately, because there's not a lot. But thank you guys for your continued support. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Like, click the bell icon. Check those links below if you're interested in what I'm doing in the future. And it's a lot. I'm doing a lot online. So, pray for me, because if things go right by March of next year, you're still going to see content on this channel, but you might see my face a lot less. Where some of you are like, good, I didn't want to see your ugly face anyway. Thank you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one.